From the land of lakes, this is 10,000 Takes, brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another month as we slice and dice the always busy, always topical, super saturated Twin Cities sports scene. And Wally, yet another episode of 10K Takes Television and plenty on the plate. Where do you want to start? Border battle, NFL, division race up for grabs, AL Central, or dare I say it, pucks?
Yeah, some hockey in September for you. We got a Minnesota movie that's going to keep us busy in the part of the show today. So, yeah, lots to talk about, but probably the elephant in the room, we should get right to it, Packers and Vikings opening up this weekend. And, I think that for the Vikings, this is vital to win this football game, to get off to a good start because – look, their schedule is tough, particularly at the beginning of the year. And the last thing that they want to do is be chasing the Packers all season long. Winning coming out of the gate at home against your arch rival. You've got a new head coach. You go to Philadelphia next week. It's not going to be easy. Nobody promised that it would be, but I think that it's probably more important for Minnesota to win this game than it is for Green Bay.
Yeah, because you need to take care of business in your own division, in this case, the NFC North.
And at home.
And the Packers have the bullseye on their back. I mean, that's the team you want to take down. You're concerned about Chicago and Detroit, but we all know that Green Bay is the kingpin, right? So if you lose this game, the next crack you get at Green Bay is in January.
Oh, boy.
On the frozen tundra at Lambeau. And who knows if they're even in contention then. That would be Minnesota. So, yeah, it's a crucial game. They all count a lot in the NFL, even with 17 regular season games now. Go back a year ago. Minnesota loses an overtime game at Cincinnati.
Right.
The following week, a dagger defeat on a missed field goal at Arizona. Suddenly, they're in an 0-2 hole. They're chasing their tail the entire season. They never really caught up. So Minnesota has to avoid these sputtering starts. The Vikings have had them the last 2-3 years. They need a fast start.
All right, where do you land on the Vikings with number of wins this year? I'm hearing a lot folks talking about 8 or 9. And if you're at 8 or 9, 9 might get you into the postseason. 8 won't. Most likely 8 will not. Even though they've added all these extra teams now. It's going to be like the NHL and NBA pretty soon where everybody makes it. But I'm guessing that's probably going to be about right. And if they win 10, they probably will be in.
Yeah, I think double digits gets you in for sure.
Yeah.
I think the key for Minnesota is that there's talent on this roster. We've heard a lot about the culture change and the toxic situation under Mike Zimmer, and it's way more refreshing with the young guy, Kevin O'Connell. We'll see. That's all words and verbiage now. Let's see how it plays out. But I do know this. They can't really have a lot of injuries. And they're going to happen in the NFL. I just don't know how deep this team is. So Zadarius Smith, the ex-Green Bay Packer, Danielle Hunter, who, when he is healthy, is a monster on the field. Can they play, most of the games? That's 2 big keys on defense. Offensively, how much better can the O-line get? That's always been a bugaboo, right? Special teams. Can they get better in that department? They have a new punter.
Yeah, and they've got to keep Kirk Cousins upright, that offensive line that you mentioned, because we know that he doesn't make a ton of plays with his feet. Occasionally it'll happen, but generally speaking, he can make throws, and I've often said this. He makes throws, but not necessarily makes plays. And so if they can keep him on his feet, he's got time to throw, they're going to score points. I don't think there's any question about that. With Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, they've got people that can make plays. Irv Smith Jr. These people are going to help them score points. The question, I think, still revolves around that defense. Can they be better than they've been the last couple of years? And even under Mike Zimmer, who was a defensive whiz, things have not gone well defensively.
They gave up too many splash plays, too many chunk plays, and they became a very average to below average defense the last couple of seasons. That has to get better. It's a new scheme, 3-4. Ed Donatel is the defensive coordinator now. I mean, everything's new out there in Eagan at the TCO Performance Center, from Quasi Adolfo-Mensah, the GM, to Kevin O'Connell and the staff he brought in. Wes Phillips, the offensive coordinator, son of Wade, grandson of Bum, so he's got football in his lineage. There's no doubt about that. But
Does
then
he
again,
wear the cowboy hat?
We'll see. Can he wear it indoors? I don't know if Bum did he wear it indoors at the Astrodome?
I would guess he probably
did,
didn't he?
Yeah, that's true. He did. Bum would be back in the day.
Yeah.
Astrodome.
Boy, a long time. Is that building still around?
It's still up.
Oh, boy.
There's rats running around.
I'm sure there are. Okay. Where do you got them? You got them 10 wins?
I'll put them at 9.
9?
Yeah. So you're on the cusp of a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's about where I was going to land too. I'll go 8 just to be different, but I was thinking 9. That's kind of where I was thinking. So, all right. Well, if the Twins were to run off like 8 or 9 wins in a row, they would find themselves in good shape coming down the stretch because they're playing a ton of games against Cleveland, obviously all weekend long this weekend, and then they go to Cleveland for 5 games next week. I'll be there for those, for some or most of those 5 games in Cleveland. But it is, as much as I know you love the interleague stuff that we're going to get jammed down our throats next year with 46 interleague games as opposed to the, 20 we get now. I like the fact that you're playing in your division here at the end of the season. And there's no avoiding the interleague at the end of the season now or starting next year because of all the games you have to play. But this is good because now the Twins can really determine their own fate by playing the team that they're battling with or one of the teams they're battling with down the stretch here.
Well, the good news for the Twins is they aren't playing the New York Yankees. They aren't playing the Houston Astros. They aren't playing the Los Angeles Dodgers. They've run into these powerhouse teams this season, and they have not been able to stack up. They just get run over like a speed bump. This is high-stakes baseball. This weekend in Minneapolis at trendy Target Field. So much of the focus is on Green Bay, Minnesota, the border battle at the House of Noise. But, and then as you said, they go to Cleveland. They sandwich the Royals in between. Kansas City will come to Target Field, I believe, starting on Monday.
Yeah, early.
Yeah. So anyways, here's the thing. This shows you how much disrespect the AL Central gets. So you have Cleveland and Minnesota on Sunday, potentially first place on the line, right? Is it the Sunday night baseball game on ESPN?
No, of course not.
No. You know what they're showing instead?
I have no idea.
San Francisco and the Chicago Flubs.
Oh, boy.
And
they are bad.
Here are their options. You could go Guardians Twins, and they never get any primetime love on Sunday night. So put them on. Or you could go Tampa Bay, New York Yankees. You could go Atlanta at Seattle. Or the LA Dodgers at San Diego. But no, we get the Giants and the Cubs. Sunday Night Football on NBC is going to slaughter that. Not that it wouldn't anyway.
No, it won't be close, that's for sure. All right, well, we promise we're going to talk some hockey.
Yeah, we'll talk to the producer and the director of Hockeyland. All that coming up on 10,000 Takes, your purple ticket.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect. Maya? Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision. It's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Well, Eveleth is the home of the big stick. It's home of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, and at one point, the best hockey in America was played here.
4-7 state championships.
What better way to get things going this hockey season with the old Iron Rain stalwart, the Eveleth-Gilbert Golden Bears, and the top-ranked Hermantown Hawks.
And that is a clip from Hockeyland, a movie that is being released throughout the state of Minnesota over the weekend and then nationwide next week. And it is basically, it follows Eveleth-Gilbert, and it also follows Hermantown from a couple of seasons ago. Pretty good stuff, and we are pleased to be joined now by the producer and the director of Hockeyland, Tommy Haynes, director, and Andrew Sherburne, producer. Guys, welcome to the show. Let's start out with you, Tommy. How did this all start? I know you grew up in northern Minnesota, but what was the genesis of this idea for the movie Hockeyland?
Well, a lot of stuff had to happen for this. We've been dreaming about making a film about high school hockey for about a decade. And so for this film specifically, we were just waiting for the right timing, the right stories to kind of emerge. And with Eveleth-Gilbert, I mean, you guys know this is one of the most storied programs in the state, dating back to John Mariucci and John Mayasich and Willard Eichela. And this program was going to be going away. They're merging with their neighboring school, Virginia. So that was really the impetus to get this project started. And this, of course, as you guys know, is where I grew up playing hockey too. Grew up in a little small town called Mountain Iron. Same outdoor rink as Matt Niskanen and a couple other NHL guys. And so this is something that's close to me, and I was excited to get this thing started. I'm pretty proud of what it's become.
And tell us about hockey being baked into the DNA of people on the Iron Range, the Rangers. I mean, it's a blue collar area, and boy, if you're a kid growing up, you put the skates on and you play hockey, don't you?
That's what everyone does. I grew up in the 80s there, and I remember I started playing hockey when I was 5, and the Miracle on Ice happened the year before that. So you got guys like John Harrington, Havlich is coming back, Buzz Snyder, all these Iron Range guys that just live down the block from you. And so everyone on the street's playing hockey, and that's just what you do. And it gets dark at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and so it's just like, what is there to do except to go under the lights in the outdoor rink and skate? That's what we all did.
Andrew, what was the most difficult part about this as producer of this movie? When I watched it, I mean, you guys are embedded with them everywhere. I mean, you're in their cars, you're in their homes, you're in the locker room. I mean, you're with them everywhere. How difficult was that, and what are some of the more difficult circumstances that you dealt with when producing this movie?
So yeah, as the producer, I mean, a lot of times I was kind of off set, making sure that everybody who was filming was being taken care of and getting the job done. But you're right. I mean, these guys were embedded for the entire season, and so they were following these guys everywhere. Spent a lot of time in the locker rooms. I think the biggest thing, anytime you make a film like that, where you're trying to get intimate with your subjects, with the people in the film, you have to build trust. And so, it's not natural necessarily to have a camera over your shoulder right away. But Tommy and the team did an amazing job creating real relationships and real friendships with the folks that are in this film, and creating that trust so they could go into the locker room. That's a bit of a sacred space. So, just being able to be there, I think, is a huge victory.
Andrew, did you use the movie Hoosiers, Hoops in Indiana, or Friday Night Lights, football in Texas? Were those blueprints? Is that the kind of message you want to get out about hockey being so popular in Minnesota?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I try not to watch too many similar films when you're trying to cut a film, because you don't want that to invade your process necessarily. But, Hoosiers, I watched that 24 times as a kid. So it's deep in my memory. So certainly those are references, and I think especially what they stand for. Hoosiers is synonymous with Indiana basketball. Friday Night Lights, that's synonymous with Texas football. And that's what we wanted to create. We wanted to create a film that's a legacy film that is a source of pride for Minnesotans, and to say, hey, this is something that we have that no one else has. And hopefully this is a film that makes that possible, that creates that.
And you guys got yourself embedded, Tommy, with Hermantown and with Eveleth-Gilbert. And you already explained the Eveleth-Gilbert angle being that it was going to be their final year and the history of Eveleth. But you kind of got lucky, too, because they hadn't won many playoff games, and then they ended up playing, not only did they open up against each other, but they ended against each other as far as Eveleth goes, that being their final game in the section playoffs. That kind of worked out in your favor because it was a nice build-up to that part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of luck, but also I think that was part of that 10 years of preparation. Like we were figuring out who was going to be the best team in Section 7, right? And Eveleth had 15 returning seniors that year. And they were really good the year before that, too. So we thought this might be the second best team in that section. And you see in the movie, they play Greenway tough. They actually beat Greenway. They play Denfeld tough. And so a little bit of luck, but also Hermantown's going to be the big dog, and that's going to be the David Goliath story we're going to have. But then also Eveleth, we thought they had a chance of beating them that year for sure.
Tommy, describe life on the Iron Range. I mean, it's gone through incredible highs and lows with the taconite and all the mining up there. Has the Iron Range bounced back?
Oh, I don't know if I can speak to the economics of the Iron Range, but I think one reason why we wanted to film up there, beyond me just being from up there, is that kids still, a lot of the stuff that hasn't changed in 20, 30 years. Kids are still shoveling rooftops. They're still hunting and fishing. A guy gets stuck in the ditch in a snowbank, and you don't call 911 or you don't call a tow truck. You just call your buddy and they come pull you out for you. So a lot of that kind of self-reliance and resiliency that just still exists in these kids today. So that was a big part of it. But yeah, I mean, the mining jobs, it's declined. I mean, they have just better equipment now. So there's just fewer jobs for people up there. And so these town populations have slowly kind of gotten smaller and smaller. And that's why this consolidation with Virginia and Eveleth has happened. There's just not enough kids.
Andrew, talk about what Tommy actually referred to there. Parts of the movie, as I watched it, you guys did a really nice job, I thought, of framing what a Minnesota winter looks like. I can only imagine how folks in Florida are going to be watching this thinking, my goodness, these people must live at the North Pole. But by the same token, I thought you guys did a nice job of getting the Minnesota winter feel, with the movie itself. And how much of that went into your thought process when you were putting this together?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, in some ways, the place is a character in the film, right? I mean, we wanted people to understand northern Minnesota as well as they understood anyone else in the film, and so a lot of that comes through in the imagery, but it's the entire lifestyle, right? The way people live up there, riding four-wheelers around and ice fishing. It's such a long winter in Minnesota. I tell people this all the time. You have to enjoy it. You got to find ways to enjoy the winter because it's too long to just sit still and sit inside. So, I mean, that's what I love watching is these are people who are not afraid of a little snow, not afraid of something cold, and we wanted people to understand that there's a lot of good times that happen up there. Some people are afraid of it, but not northern Minnesotans.
Andrew, do you think, to Wally's point, that maybe some young kid in Miami or Malibu or Maui is going to watch this and say, I want to play hockey? I mean, we've seen a Sunbelt expansion. Jason Zucker's from Las Vegas. Austin Matthews is from Scottsdale. There might be more kids that think this is pretty cool and they want to play hockey.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's a beautiful sport, right? I mean, we all love it. And so I hope people see that and they go sign up. They go, every one of the NHL teams in those big markets has a learn to play program. They've got youth leagues, and those are popping up all over the place. I don't think the passion is absent in those areas. It's just access, right? There's not as many rinks. Ice time's hard to get by. I think hopefully people find a way, and hopefully, the NHL, USA Hockey, these organizations that can do something about it, continue to make it possible for kids to get out on the ice for the first time and learn the sport.
All right, Tommy, last question before we let you go. If you had to point to one thing, why should folks want to go out and see your movie, Hockeyland?
Oh, wow. Well, it's such a passionate thing for most Minnesotans, right? And I think it's going to speak to a lot of families in the States and just that fervor that goes on with high school hockey. And I think this film really gets to the heart of it, the experience of what these boys go through. And I think no matter if you care about, Hermantown or Eveleth, I think if you're at Edina or Eden Prairie or Hill Murray even, this film, you're gonna relate to the experience that these boys go through. And hopefully we capture that. I'm excited for people to see it and tell us what they think about it.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you spending some time with us. Good luck. I hope that the opening goes well for you. I know it's, again, across the state of Minnesota this week and across the nation next week. Looks like it's going to be a winner. Hopefully it is for you.
We're juiced. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Thank you.
All right. They are Tommy Haynes and Andrew Sherburne, the producer and director of Hockeyland, released nationwide. We'll be back with more here on 10,000 Takes after this timeout. Stay with us.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
10,000 Takes, Wally and Eric. and we're going to put on our commissioner hats now. Neither of us
So
are.
we're power brokers.
Kind of, yeah. Neither of us are real thrilled with the commissioner of what seems to be our favorite sports. Me with Rob Manfred, Major League Baseball, and you with Roger
Well, you have
Goodell.
a Rob Manfred dartboard at your man cave.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I like throwing at him. So here are some of the things that I would change if I were the commissioner and throw Rob Manfred out into the street. First of all, as I already mentioned earlier in the show, all this interleague play, holy Toledo. I mean, they just keep piling it on. Next year, we're going to get 46 interleague games. Good luck at the end of the season when you're trying to do makeups. Oh, by the way, I hate the ghost runner on second thing to start the 10th inning. Get rid of that. At least wait until the 12th inning to implement that stupid rule. Intentional walks. Why do we have intentional? Is it really necessary? Do we save a ton of time by eliminating intentional walks? What is this, softball?
It's an average of about 10 seconds per intentional walk that you
Oh,
save.
my goodness. And then now next year they want to bring in the pitch clock. Thanks, Rob. We'll have that in there, too.
I've seen that at minor league games.
How many times have you heard the greatest thing about baseball is there is no clock? Well, starting next year, your buddy Rob Manfred wants to bring that in. And oh, by the way, I liked the fact that the All-Star game had some meaning, and then they played for a World Series home field advantage. I know it was gimmicky, but Bud Selig had that one right. It gave that game a little bit of meaning. So those are some of the things that I would change back and or not change that your guy Rob Manfred seems to be all over.
All right, fair enough. Well, maybe someday you will be the MLB commissioner.
There we go. Somebody's
you
gotta
just
be this.
there's your audition tape.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm not a huge fan of the dictator Roger Goodell, and I have some changes I would implement if I ran the Shield, the NFL.
Okay.
First and foremost, no domes. No more domes. That means Chicago Bears, you can't go to Arlington unless it's open air. And if you have a retractable roof venue, roof always open. NFL was forged on games played in weather in all conditions. Let's not be sissies and play inside. Second rule, no field turf. This is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, the NFL. You can have state-of-the-art grass fields. Green Bay, for goodness sakes, does it. The tundra is grass. It's not field turf. Third one, absolutely no Thursday night football with the exception of Thanksgiving. I'm okay with a triple dip of football on Thanksgiving. That's cool, but that's it. No more, and it really does jeopardize player safety.
Don't tell Amazon that.
I don't care about Amazon. They deliver enough packages. They're not going to go into the red anytime soon. Another one. Monday Night Football will be on ABC every week.
I agree.
I know it is the first couple weeks, including Minnesota at Philadelphia week 2, but I want it on every week, free TV. And finally, let defensive backs play aggressive. I'm going to have a 10-yard press rule. Okay? We're not going to give these receivers free routes. We're not going to have these silly flags for pass interference because a DB breathed on a guy. And these roughing the quarterback calls that are ridiculous, out. We're bringing football back with contact and physicality. Not dirty play, but physical play.
Wow. Well, there you have it. All right. The new commissioner of the No Fun League right here. It's Eric Nelson.
I'll bring the fun back.
Yes. Takes of the day coming up. Stay with us.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
$10K Takes on television, final segment of this week's show. Takes of the day. Are you a cranky Yankee, a demanding diva? Maybe you're a happy camper. What are you this week?
Well, as you know, last Friday, the college football playoff committee got together and they decided, ooh, great idea. Let's have a 12-team playoff. What took you so long is the question. Are you kidding me? How long did we suffer where fat sports writers were deciding who the champion was?
Computers.
And then we went to the BCS after that. And then finally they decided, well, 1 extra game for 4 teams and 2 extra games for 2 teams wasn't the worst thing in the world. Well, now the presidents of all these universities have finally come around and realized that $7 billion TV contract that the Big Ten just signed with multiple networks is no joke. How do they think that they're going to keep getting paid the buco bucks that those university presidents make? It is by cashing in on a postseason that has been long waiting for this, a 12-team playoff. Now, the Minnesota spin to this, of course, is that your guy PJ Fleck thinks it's a great idea. And I agree with PJ. Him and I are on the same page on this one. It is a great idea. Let's get the playoffs set up and let's have a postseason that is worthwhile, not just 48 bowl games that are meaningless and 3 playoff games. Now we'll get probably 30 meaningless bowl games. And I think we'll end up with about 15 postseason games that actually have some meaning to them.
Quarterfinal or semifinal matchups.
So it's all good. But PJ likes the idea. But the bad news, PJ, you got to be one of the top 12 teams in the nation to enjoy this opportunity. And you haven't done that very often. Now, you did it. I'll give you credit. I believe in 2019 you may have squeezed in. But you're going to have to do it more often than that if you're going to keep the folks over in Dinkytown happy and if this is going to mean anything different to you at all. So, yes, I'm happy. PJ's happy. But, PJ, we got to keep the ball rolling. Got to keep beating up on teams like Western Illinois.
Oh, boy. And the mood meter says you are a demanding diva.
I am.
Throwing shade on all that optimism over there in Dinkytown, that U of M Gopher program that is basking in the glow of a win over New Mexico State.
Oh, boy.
All right. My take of the day. Well, as we all know, the NFL is here.
Oh, boy.
That snowball is going down the mountain, and it will be an avalanche come February. So I'm going to give you my primetime previews for week 1. Let's start with Thursday Night Football. And as I said earlier, there shouldn't be Thursday Night Football, but there is. And the matchup's good. Buffalo at the Super Bowl champion LA Rams. So watch and see how the Rams perform coming off this Super Bowl victory. Will they have any kind of a hangover, or will they come out gangbusters? Buffalo, your window is now. You need to make a Super Bowl run this season. So this is a good matchup, despite the fact it's on Thursday. Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay at Dallas. All right, from the Buccaneers' perspective, Antoine Winfield, former Eden Prairie Eagle, ex-U of M Gopher.
Right.
He already has a Super Bowl ring with the Buccaneers. Let's see how he performs on that Tampa Bay defense. Todd Bowles, the new head coach. Tom Brady. Rumors of marital discord with he and Giselle. The harmony is gone. Will that affect TB12 on the gridiron? Probably not. This will be his oasis, his escape. And then on the Dallas side, I want to watch number 51. He wore 55 here in Minnesota, double nickels. Anthony Barr. I was a big Anthony Barr fan. I hope he does well for the Dallas Cowboys. I hope he does better than Everson Griffin did when he went down to Texas. And finally, Monday Night Football. It's on ABC.
I like it.
Free television. Denver at Seattle. Russell Wilson goes back to the Emerald City as a Bronco. Listen up, you Seahawk fans, you 12s. If you don't all get on your feet and cheer Russell Wilson and give him a standing ovation, you're hypocrites. You should turn in your season tickets. He brought you guys to 2 Super Bowls, and they won 1. So cheer him. He did a lot of good for Seattle.
I hate to admit it. I agree with you.
There you go. And on that note, let's FedEx out the thank yous. One to the great crew, David and Alex behind the scenes here. Also to Tommy and Andrew from Hockeyland. For Rocky, he's Wally. I'm Eric. This is 10K Takes, your sports ticket.